you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on Broadway World or over here on the Broadway Podcast Network. And I'm really excited about our next guest because not only is she singer, has singing experience of songs we all know. I got the photos to prove it. I'm going to show you. But she has a brand new comedy special that's coming out. Millions of people go through my mother-in-law, my mother, my sister-in-law, my sister. Everybody is going through menopause, and everybody is trying to live with it. Even if you are not as us gentlemen, we are living with menopause too. Many days I say I'm going through menopause because I feel it. Sweating out here. Sweating. Look, but I moved to Detroit 9 months ago, and I don't know if Satori is in Detroit because I know she puts shows on in Detroit. I know she hosts on PBS Detroit. I know that she does the Secret Society of the Storytellers out in Detroit. Or wait, the Secret Society of Twisted Storytellers. I want to come tell a story. I need friends out here. I'm on 7 Mile in Livernois. Satori, be my friend. Satori, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, I am in Detroit, born and raised, although I've traveled all over and lived all over. Welcome to Detroit, Michigan, Mr. Bannon.
I love it out here.
Great, great. You're 7 Mile in Livernois. I know that area well. My husband is just leaving there to go to Royal Oak to get me a sandwich.
See, he's going to go right up Woodward, go to Royal Oak. And what's funny about Detroit, and I married my husband last week. We got married 5/25/25, and he is a born and raised Detroiter. He stole me from New York and New Jersey to come out here to Detroit. And I love it here. And I'm so grateful to be here. The art, the history, the people here. You do get some things wrong, though, Satori.
Yes, we do.
Like, it's not called pop. It is definitely called soda. And I can't, what is wrong with this? Can we just call them sneakers? Why do you call them gym shoes and tennis shoes out here? I'm so confused.
Well, I actually say soda and sneakers because I've lived
everywhere else.
In LA, New York, Toronto, and
I'll meet you.
And it's Moo in Hawaii.
A Moo. Oh, see, that's World Traveler on tour everywhere. Well, I'll meet you at a Coney any day on me. That's the deal. My new Detroit friend. Well, congratulations on all of your incredible career.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me on your show. You look like a lot of fun. You do look like you could turn into Superman at any moment. Take those glasses off, sir.
What is going on? That is the greatest compliment. I wear Superman shirts, clothes, socks. I love myself some Superman. Thank you.
I was in Batman versus Superman.
So you were in the film. What do you call you? Are you an actor? Are you a singer? Are you a storyteller? What are you? A comedian?
I'm a theater artist who is, I'm a live performer. Just put me on stage.
And you don't even need a band. You don't need anything but a microphone and a light. You just will do it.
Yes.
So your journey from music, all right, going back, you funk 1970s, I'm assuming.
Late
funk,
70s.
The funk, how did you get involved with things like this? How did you get involved with the Brides of Funkenstein? How did you get involved with the whole thing?
Well, I was living in New York. I had gone to New York to record an album, and the producer happened to leave with the master tape and half of the money. I boast that Irene Cara, Luther Vandross, Diva Gray, and Gordon Grody were the background singers on my album. They all can sing better than me, but they were the top session singers in New York at the time. So but they made off with the album, and I wasn't going to come back to Detroit. I'm in New York. So I decided to stay in New York, audition for Broadway, and that's what I was doing. When Overton Lloyd, who does some of the artwork for P-Funk, said there are going to be auditions in Detroit for this new group. I think you should go. borrowed the money, flew back home to Detroit. They had already hired somebody, but one of the women in the group, Dawn Silva, said, "Well, if she doesn't work out, I'm going to call you, and then you will fly you back." I get back to New York. I get the phone call. I'm working at New York discotheque for these really rich guys who consider it their hobby. So I walk into Maurice's office and says, "Maurice, I'm leaving because I'm getting ready to sing with the biggest Black rock band in the world." He says, "Oh, that's good. When are you leaving?" I said, "Right now." He said, "You can't leave now. You've got to order me that canary yellow Rolls Royce." And I just and then when our album went #1 in Germany, Atlantic Records took us to lunch. Where? At New York discotheque. And I knew all the wait staff, everybody, and we walked in with our little secondhand muskrat coats.
Not muskrat.
Right, dried out pelts, and our Louis Vuitton, which we thought Louis Vuitton was more important than us. If we walked in with a Louis, we could go anywhere. It gave us whatever. It gave me confidence.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's how I got into the group. They flew me back. A week later, I'm standing in front of 10,000 people in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it was like getting my PhD in live performance. 5,000 seaters, 10,000, 20,000, 80,000 seaters, people chasing our limos, touch our baby, hanging out with the stars. And then our contract got pulled. We won Best New Female Group at the R&B Awards. That's Cheryl Lynn. That's me with the silver cowboy hat, Dawn in the yellow, and Sheila Horn in the pink.
And but you did it. You were selling out it's a hard business. It's got to be ups and downs and roller coasters, and
drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
I was gonna say, you're with George Clinton in Parliament and Funkadelics. You must have some stories to tell.
Millions of stories.
But you've stayed in this business. Like you have worked to fight and claw and stay relevant in this business and working, and you have taken you do anything. It's hosting PBS, it's writing comedy, it's singing. Like you are a multi-hyphenate performer.
Yeah, well, I really didn't have a choice. I mean, I've always wanted to, I guess I've always been an artist. I didn't know that was what I was, or a storyteller or a writer. I didn't know that's what I was. It's just something that I loved and enjoyed doing. So I've just kept pursuing my dreams and following my heart. And each thing led to another thing. So I built upon those skills. And by the time I became a host of PBS and what I'm doing now, it was just like a cross section of skills.
Well, SatoriShakoor.com is where you can get information and we can stay up to date. And will you tell me, so the host in PBS is out here in Detroit. So shout out to PBS and Public Broadcasting System. We need public broadcasting more than ever in this country, and it's under attack constantly.
At the moment, at the very moment.
Yes, at this second, right now. And then you created the Secret Society, Twisted Storytellers, with events like you have a show coming out June 20th right here in Detroit on East Warren, which over at the Charles Wright Museum, which is
and please, you and your husband come and be my guests.
I would love to be there. TwistedTellers.org is where you can get. I want to know about this. What is this? I'm ready to tell a story. What do you do?
You can. So I created the Secret Society of Twisted Storytellers in 2020. I had lost my mother and my son 9 months within each other in 2006. So in 2012, after I crawled back from the numb of hell, and I now felt alive, like I wanted to live again. And Detroit was also coming back from a kind of death. We had been under emergency management, water shutoffs, gentrification, a Flint water crisis, people leaving the city, a decreased tax base. And I could see signs of Detroit coming back. So I had been telling stories with the moth, flying around the country, telling my story of grief and loss, and discovered, oh, I'm a storyteller. And storytelling is a service. Not only that, it's healing me and forgiving me. Wonder, could it do the same for the city of Detroit? But of course, Wall Street had crashed. Too big to fail had failed and failed me as an artist. So I was living in the basement of a friend's house, and all my things were in storage. And I came up one morning and I sat in her garden, and my mind began to go, what if there was a place where people could come and listen and tell stories that made a difference, that brought people together? What would that be like? And it's like, but you don't have any money. You can't do this. And but the idea just began to take over. And I realized that money didn't have to be the first thing on my list. So I decided to sell tickets in advance. Sold out 45 seats. And each month following that, we had to find a new venue because more and more people were coming. And now it's 13 years later. July 19th will be 13 years, and we're still going strong. And it has expanded to the city of Southfield, where we do a Black History Month event, big event, where I train and facilitate storytelling workshops for corporations, universities, faith-based organizations, individuals. So I curate 4 new storytellers each month on a pre-selected curatorial theme. I work with each storyteller over a month. We have a rehearsal, and then we hit the stage, tell a story. We have a musical performance, a dance performance, and a digital art show. And people come up and they tell their stories. Now there's a whole other stories have to do with the people who told the stories. Because my vision was, you'll be in Whole Foods and somebody will say, how's your mother? I heard you tell your story about your mother. Or, are you still dating that guy? Because you've told the story. And so your story becomes that connective tissue. And that has happened to me. People will hear my voice and go, are you Satori Shakoor? I recognize your voice, or something. So that was my vision, to connect people through their stories. Because if you don't tell your story, you're someone who looks good and smells good.
Yeah, you're right.
But other than that, you're anonymous. And if somebody else tells your story, you're an extra.
I love, doing this show, doing 300 plus interviews a year. I've met a lot of people who are storytellers who do a one-person show. I have my own, I do cabaret and sing, but I've done my favorite thing is to tell stories, and we forget what it's like that we all tell stories on stage or at a coffee shop or at home with your partner. We all are storytellers, and there's such power and unification, and all great art, from movies to television to comedy to film to whatever, comes from telling a story. It's amazing.
Yes.
So I have to be out. I got to come out to Charles Wright Museum and see Satori Shakoor and this whole entire thing of the secret society of the Twisted Storyteller. Real people, real true stories. I can't wait to see it. You can get your tickets. That's all at twistedtellers.org. If there's tickets left to be had by the time you're watching this, get a ticket. Well, in your storytelling, you just so happen to have an hour-long comedy special that's coming out that everybody needs to be talking about. Confessions of a Menopausal Femme Fatale, a stand-up storytelling concert film, and it's June 12th on Google Play, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, wherever you get your stuff. Boom. The trailer is so funny, so good.
Thank you.
Tell me how this came about, please.
Well, I made a promise to my younger self when I started to notice the symptoms of menopause. And I was going around asking my mother, I don't remember. I'd ask older women, I'm too young. They didn't want to age themselves or date, or other women who just who said, I refuse to go through menopause. And I wondered, how was that going to happen if you continue to live? Anyhow, I could not find anyone that was talking about menopause. I did see Oprah did a show, and she had a Dr. Christine Northrup on the show. I immediately bought her book, but of course I wasn't using any kind of pharmaceuticals or hormone replacement therapy. And I did that intentionally because I wanted to take the journey so that on the other side I could write about it and leave something for women coming behind me. So, but the book did not talk about the things that I was experiencing, and which was the more spiritual journey of menopause, the reflection, the self-reflection, forgiving, facing and confronting choices that weren't, there were vulnerable choices, not so good choices, like we all do as human beings. And then when I got to the other side, still there was deafening silence, still the stigma of it, because books were coming out. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, catch them and keep them, all of these things. And I was angry at the books. I would literally buy the book and then jump on top of the book out of anger, because it's like, oh, I have to pretzel myself. I have to lose power. I have to make myself smaller just to get a man. And then the book says at the end, and you have to continue to do this for the rest of your life. So I was like, no, I'm not. So what menopause was teaching me was that, no, you get to be all of who you are. You get to define yourself. You get to be fully self-expressed. You get to be whomever you say you want to be. You don't have to age. You don't have to look like your grandmother. You don't have to resign yourself to a rocking chair with the grandchildren and erase yourself. It didn't make sense that you would live this amount of time, gain all this wisdom, and then deny it. Right. So even now, women are starting to talk. So my film, it began to change purpose. Okay, I'm making my film now to sort of lead the pack and say, come out and admit that you're menopausal. Admit you're the age you are. Get women talking about it. Now women are talking about it. I'm part of the Michigan Women's Commission with the Governor Whitmer, who's taken on an initiative, as you know, to get people in tune with menopause. Halle Berry was invited to the mansion along with me and 60 other women, trying to raise money to do the research, because it is medically, it can affect your heart, breast cancer. It's not just something to laugh at. So my movie is very funny, but it also has a lot of tragedy in it. And it also talks about other things that women don't normally talk about: postpartum depression, sexuality, sex. It reveals my humanity. And hopefully it does it in such a way that other women are willing to talk about their vulnerabilities. I have noticed in doing a lot of Q&As and fundraising, and I start the conversation, you can't get the women out the room. I want to talk. I have a question. This is what happened to me. Because the symptoms show up differently in every body. You may have had a hysterectomy, and so it'll show up differently. You may be of a different culture, and it'll show up differently. So there are not enough doctors. They get 1 hour training in menopause. So now there's got to be a whole generation of doctors that have to be trained to address this issue, because the largest demographic in the United States are women in some stage of menopause. 2 million women enter menopause, or anywhere from 45 to 50 every day. That's huge. Can you imagine if we could come out of the closet about that? How huge that community is, and how many lives that community touches, how much support we could get from you, your husband, my husband, and our coworkers, our supervisors, our bosses, how much support we could get, how much more responsible we could be for the mood swings. Because I would wake up every morning and say, you have to apologize to at least 3 people today. Just because I noticed I was saying what I thought, exactly what I thought, and I was socialized to be a female. which is to say, or woman, which is to say, people pleaser, man pleaser, perform for the male. Ooh, not, reducing myself, playing small, waiting until a certain time of life, and then taking on my dreams. I met 3 artists here in the city of Detroit who, in their 50s, started painting and are selling their paintings for $10,000. And they're women who have been in marriages and relationships coming out as gay. I never said anything. They're now owning their lives just because they're coming into this moment of what I call should be a rite of passage, should be like a bat mitzvah or menopause mitzvah. There should be celebrations and parties. Oh my God, I'm done with that part of my life, and now I'm walking into a future that I can create.
Yeah.
And my film is about reflecting on my past, my choices, my regrets, the things that I couldn't admit before, and now embracing it, rolling up the past where there's nothing back there to deal with, and then I have a blank canvas for the future. And I'm saying to women, once you deal with those symptoms, and if we have enough doctors, we can now be fully self-expressed. We can take our power and not laud it over people, but actually give it to people.
Go to SatoriShakoor.com for the link and the information, and it will be out, everybody, while we're talking about with her. It's out on June 12th, and you can get it on Google Play, Apple Prime, Apple TV. Get it, download it, share it with somebody. I know a bunch of people. We have, what's funny is, I was very moved by you saying that people in their 50s, I started to get back into this entertainment business after a failed straight marriage, coming out late in life in my 30s, and people would tell you, you're in your 30s, you have to pay your bills, you have a job, you have a career. And then it became a problem where it was always I was thinking about this before chatting with you, not this interview's about me, but I felt so at peace about the past year, getting married, moving to Detroit. I heard so many people tell me, you'll lose your career, you'll give up everything you have, you're not in New York anymore. What are you going to do? How are you going to find a community? What are you going to do to make a living? We live in this box of fear to follow these rules. Women, especially, are told to follow these rules all of the time. And that at a certain point in your life, it's over. You just got to sit down and be quiet. It's just begun.
Yeah.
It's just begun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when I saw the preview of this, you're talking about things that are taboo to people to talk about, but need to talk about.
Yes. Urgently.
And you're giving information, and you're giving kiki, hoo, ha ha funny, and you're giving people the ability to see themselves.
Yeah.
And why are women, I had this conversation with my sister-in-law. She just gave birth to my niece, and she was like, people don't talk about what it's really like to be pregnant. People don't talk about what it's really like to be a young mother and how hard and scary it is and what you go through. People do not talk about getting older. They do not talk about menopause. They do not talk about the fear. Why do women get taught to not speak together and talk about their experience?
Because we have been socialized look, we couldn't even get credit in our own name. We couldn't, we were the property of men. So we've come a long way. We had no autonomy over our bodies. So therefore we were there to serve and be subservient and submit. So the task at hand is to remain as perky, as juicy, as relevant as possible for men, and men are wonderful, beautiful. But I think we embrace men more when they can accept us for all of who we are. We're better mates. We're better spouses. We're better friends if we can be all of who we are and not have to hide anything. So why is because socially, James Brown said it, it's a man's world. He did add it would be nothing without a woman or a girl. So we should sit right next to, not because if the world is not going to be nothing without us, then we should be respected to sit right
Amen.
beside. Yeah. So this is a women's empowerment issue. We don't have to look old. We don't have to be old, and it's about a mindset, not an age.
Well, I got some people that I need to come down to see your storytelling event, and I have some people who really need to see your storytelling stand-up comedy special. We were joking about this subject with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and everybody out here. We were in Ferndale for dinner the other night, and I was like, and when I saw that you were coming on, I had told them about you, and I think we all would get some joy out of a good chuckle and a good laugh, and then to also see what they're going through your experience, and that's what you do, is we can all understand each other a little bit better. I think it's so powerful what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Robert.
I love this. Confessions of a Menopausal Femme Fatale. That's what she is, right? Femme Fatale all day. People, she's got story. She has stories. Oh, I need a private storytelling moment with you because I want the tea. And we can get it. We get all the information on Google Play, Amazon Prime, Apple TV coming June 12th. Make sure you share it. Go
Have
to
watch parties.
Yes, watch it with your friends and family and your girlfriends and enjoy. Twistedtellers.org is where we're going to go. You can $25. You can't even go. I can't even go to Hungry Howie's and get a pizza meal for $25 out here and go see this incredible event that you have at the beautiful Charles Wright Museum of African American History on Warren Avenue in Detroit coming on June 20th. And then we're going to follow all the information at SatoriShakoor.com to stay up to date on all the things that you do. You're my friend now.
Yes.
We're
So
gonna
if
hang
you
out.
want to come in June,
I'll
let
see
me
you.
know. If you can't make it in June, come in September. My friend Rogerio Pinto, we're collaborating with him from the University of Michigan School of Social Work. The theme is colorism. I'll introduce you to him and his husband, and you can know some more. I know a bunch of gay men married that want to know each other, and they moved from New York too.
Let's do it. And my husband is a U of M grad in social work, so there you go.
They might know each other.
They might know each other.
Yeah, Rogerio is there right now.
So that's it. It's meant to be. It's kismet. That's it. We're stuck. So I will be there. I'm going to be there. I'm bringing my sister-in-law who wants to talk about. She's already talking about trying to tell her stories, and we need to be inspired. We're going to be inspired by you, and we're in. So thank you, my 313 sister here.
Yes.
Let's go. Thank you for spending time with us. I'm so excited to meet you.
Thank you.